So, quick little thing. I had to heavily edit this chapter because of some adult fun time content that was in it. So, sorry about that, but I don't want to get a strike. Anyway, hope you're enjoying the series and please enjoy. The world was spinning. You felt nauseous, your stomach twisting itself until it was reduced into one matted knot of anxiety, tight and gripping. Fear was wedged into your throat, and you suddenly had the urge to dry heave. Your fingers gripped the counter, as they were the only thing supporting you from crashing to the floor. Heavy, frantic breaths escaped you, your lungs overworking themselves to the point where you felt they would explode inside of you. Karma's dark eyebrows rose. No? She took a step forward, a predator against a small field mouse, jaws open and ready for the kill. Her movements were slow, calculated, each step sending your mind into a frenzied mess. You were in a room with a killer, a sadist, a cruel monster, who somehow was able to find a place in her heart for you, and loved you dearly, if not in her own twisted sense. Do you know what I've done? Who I've killed for you? For us to be together? Her eyes were dark, sinister pools of amber that scalded your skin as she painfully raked them across your form. You began to think about it, the people harmed over you, the guards of the asylum, Rikute-kun. Your eyes widened. Karma shrugged, as if the brutal undoing of her classmates and peers meant nothing at all. To gain your attention, of course. You see, it was all thought out. A plan in some way. The mass murder, being placed in the asylum. Interesting the school to place your class incidentally for a project to assign you to me, all carefully plotted out to make you mine. Mine. The way she stated the word of possession so casually, as if you already knew that you were hers, as if you were property, an object to be placed under one's watch. It enraged you. Karma was so close, so very close, her fingers brushing gently against your closed shoulder, and you actually shuddered. Waves of revulsion washed over your skin as you felt her skin glide across your own, leaving a trail of fire in its wake. Your back was against the counter, the pot of ramen boiling behind you, close to burning your skin. You had to get away, no matter what. As Karma's lips dove to your neck, your hands wrapped around the pot's handle, the unprotected surface sizzling slightly as it made contact with your bare skin. A shriek of pain escaped you, and you almost dropped the burning kitchen utensil as you felt waves of pain turning your soft skin an angry red. Quickly, you threw the pot in Karma's direction, and a yelp of pain proved it met its target. Clutching your now burned hand to your chest, you shoved the female out of your way and bolted out of the kitchen. You attempted escape, feeling as if you were running a marathon as you hobbled through the house. Black spots filled your vision, and fat tears fell down your skin as your hand throbbed, your arms unmoving and already seeming to blister. Your body was in so much pain that the world around you seemed to blur, leaving you in a dreamlike state. Your body gave out the signal that you were running, but in reality you were limping at a very slow pace. The minutes, actually seconds, in reality as audible cursing filled your hearing. Karma. Gasping, your arms attached itself to the wooden banister of your stairs, weakly supporting you as you struggled to get up them. Scrambling up the wooden floorboards, harsh, cold hands wrapped around your waist, pulling your body back from the stairwell, resulting in your body falling down the hard wood before colliding with the floor. Your head smacking against the surface with an audible smack. Dazed, injured, and now slightly concussed, your blurred vision seemed to discolor, and you felt yourself stiffen. Of the red head in waves. You naughty boy. Look what you've done. Karma gestured to the nasty burn mark on her body, starting from the base of your neck and spreading to her right collarbone. The burn an angry shade of crimson. You little bitch! She harshly slammed your body against the wood, her hands pressing into your shoulder as the wind was knocked out of you. Trapped underneath her, you struggled, murmuring nonsense as your body's fight or flight syndrome kicked in, adrenaline pumping through your bloodstream. Do you know how long I've waited? How long I had to sit there and watch you in the outside world, knowing I don't have you by my side? Do you know how long I've wanted to do this? Karma reached behind her and pulled out a knife, its sharp tip glinting slightly in the dim light. I said before that I was going to be the one to take you, corrupt you, dirty you, hurt you, because, after all, you are mine. She dragged it up your bare arm, starting from your wrist, ending at the butt of your shoulder, which caused goosebumps to ripple throughout your body, the cold surface cooling your flaming skin. Your breathing hitched, and you were terrified to move, not wanting the sharp object to dig into your skin. Karma smiled slightly, amused by your reaction, and began to withdraw the knife, only to immediately drag it across your wrist. A scream of pain immediately escaped you, and you writhed in her grip, trying to escape her as she quickly wrapped a bandage around the cut. Trailing the knife a bit higher, she makes another incision right above the first, and another squeal of pain erupted in the room. Wrapping your cut in yet another gauze, you realize she had brought with her a whole bag, just for you. Now you realize what she meant. She would cut you, scar you, to mark you as hers, then ravage you beyond repair. You were in so much pain that you could barely hear Karma's groans of pleasure at your writhing state. She was clearly not done, but merely satisfied about the way you displayed your pain, your facial muscles tightening with anguish every time her knife descended upon your limbs. Scream after scream filled the room, finally slowly dying out as your body became numb after all the harsh cuts she was inflicting upon you, causing you to lay numbly upon the wood. Any signs of vicious hope drained from your broken state. Soon, your arms and legs were completely covered with white gauze, which occasionally showed the crimson red of your blood. Your entire body throbbed, unable to keep with the emotional and traumatic pain your body was being inflicted with. Warm, strong hands delicately wrapped around your waist, and you realized you had no will to struggle. Karma, with a sudden rust of hinted gentleness, lifted you from the ground, your bandaged limbs hanging limply as she hoisted you into the air and over her shoulder, your stomach planted on her shoulder. You could only stare at the ground as she practically carried you upstairs, ignoring your small pleas of distress suddenly dropping you onto the bed. Your muscles softened when they met your warm comforter, and your toes wiggled slightly of impact. Noting the latter of the two, you tried to move your fingers, both actually moving slightly, even though the movement caused you to be in a world of pain. Karma instantly crawled on top of you, her hands firmly planted on your shoulder, and her securely sitting on your waist, immobilizing you in any attempt you would be able to make to escape. You grimaced as you felt a warm tongue slide up your neck, the wet muscle snaking up to the shell of your ear. You know, I've always wondered if your pleasure is better than your pain. Slap. The sound echoed across the room, and Karma raised a hand to her cheek, which was now turning a bright red from your attack. You were breathing heavily, shocked at your own strength, and began to struggle to escape her. How annoying. It seems that you still don't understand, dear listener coon. I own you. You are mine. I can do anything I want to you, and you can't tell me no. So now, I guess the punishment is in order. Grasping that oh-so-familiar knife, she brought it to your upper body, aiming at the soft skin directly underneath your collarbone. To show you who owns you. She digged the knife into your skin, and a scream rippled through your throat. Dragging it downward, she crossed the lines and swirled the metal into your skin. It was then you realized that she wasn't just cutting you. She was scarring your flesh to mark you as hers. The letters began to tautly form on your battered skin, a dark red that seemed to taint your skin. Karma Akabane. After the last E, Karma dropped the knife, the piece dropping to the floor with a loud thud. You could only brokenly stare at your collarbone, the name that will forever be scarred on your flesh. Your blood was everywhere, dripping down your skin and staining the soft blankets underneath you. Your mind was blurred slightly, and you internally screamed at her sadistic actions. Your dazed eyes met her own, and she smiled. It wasn't a smirk of sadistic intents or lustful actions. She was smiling because she knew she had won. Your consciousness faded, and you succumbed to the bittersweet realm of sleep, passing out in your stalker's arms. It was dark in the quiet town. Not a soul moved. Well, except for one. Walking along the deserted streets, long abandoned, a tall redhead carried a sloppily dressed man, his sleeping form dangling from her bridal-style carrying. If one looked upon the sight, they would be slightly disturbed, noting the bandages that covered most of the man's skin. But not a person was in sight. Karma Akabane held her lover close, breathing in his scent and taking in his unconscious form as she trailed to a warehouse, abandoned in the late night. Opening the heavy doors, she quickly stepped inside and set the man on the ground before slipping some gloves on. Then she went to work. Taking a chair, she set a rope around the base of the chair and grabbed some handcuffs, cuffing one to the listener's wrist to the chair, while the rest of his body hung limp. Discarding the gloves, she quickly dialed 911. 911, what's your emergency? Karma glanced around the room, staring at the dark red painting the walls. Yes, I have to report a mass murder. Then the redhead disappeared into the night, leaving the unconscious man in the warehouse. But what the sleeping man didn't know was that as he slept, he was surrounded with all his student peers in the school, and not a soul moved.